What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So you want to get into real estate, do you? Well, I'm going to tell you, don't do it. Walk away. Stop watching this video now. Don't do it. What? Okay, what am I talking about? What am I really saying? I'm saying if you come to me or if you come to anybody in the street and say, I want to get into real estate, there's no plan there. What the heck does that mean? I'm going to talk about if you want to seriously dive into this industry, you need to have a plan of attack, just like anything else. You have to understand what you're saying and what you're trying to accomplish before you just get into something, okay? What does it mean? There's many ways to become part of the real estate industry, and we're going to talk about all those different ways of doing it and which one's the best one for you, all right? Before you do that, do me a favor. Find that red button, find the subscribe, hit it, find the little bell, hit that. That way you get more information as I continue to put it out on more videos in real estate and home building itself. All right, we have a lot of fun on this channel. We also have a live stream on Wednesdays. Make sure you catch up on that as well. Check out all the other videos. And if you liked this content at the end of this video, really do me a favor, find that blue thumb and make it go up like that. That helps get it out to more people that can get the same information that you are looking for. All right, without further ado, let's get into the discussion about getting into real estate. What does that mean? I have no idea. When someone comes up to me and asks me, hey, Shane, I want to get into real estate, I say, why? And they look at me dumbfounded, knowing what I do, because that's why they're asking me, and they say, because I want to make money. Okay, great. There's plenty of things out there that will make you money. If your goal is to make lots of money, I could give you 5 different career paths, industries to jump into. What is it with real estate it's pulling you in? And when you say you want to get into real estate, I don't understand what that means. Are you wanting to become a realtor, a licensed agent? Are you wanting to wholesale properties? Are you wanting to be a developer? The number of things you can do in real estate is just, it's vast. It grows every day, as a matter of fact, just like every industry that's continuing to grow, especially with technology continuing to take over our worlds. We won't get into any of that stuff, though, will we? Not on this channel, at least. I need to understand what you're asking me. Are you looking to get a license and come work under my brokerage? Yes or no? Are you just looking to invest in properties? Are you looking to flip homes? Lots of things can happen. So let's talk about kind of the most common parts of the industry that people think about, and we'll discuss what that means, how you become that person. And at the end of this video, hopefully you decide whether you want to get into real estate and which direction you're actually going to go. The plan is important, because if you don't have a plan when you want to get into anything, including real estate, you're going to fail. It's not right for you. It's going to be a disaster. So we're going to talk about devising a plan that fits you, and then you can take your path into the career of real estate in whatever realm that means, all right? So let's get started. Okay, first things first, like I've talked about on other videos, we're going to talk about a real estate agent. When you become an agent, you have to be licensed, and there's other videos I've got on my channel that talk about what it takes to become licensed as an agent. Every state is different as far as licensure goes. There's all the pre-licensing requirements for each state, and then you have to go take a state test. Okay. If you don't know any of this information yet, stop right here, pause it, click the like button, save it for later. Go back and check out the other real estate videos that I've done that talk about how to become an agent. They are under the wide world of real estate realm of videos that I have on this channel. And then come back and watch this, right? This is not going to be about exactly how to become an agent. This is just going to be talking specifically about all the different worlds of real estate. Okay. Different types of real estate licenses. That's true. They're become, like I said, state to state can be very, very different. So there's licensure that's different in every state, and there's different types of licenses depending on the state itself. All right, really quickly, like I said, every state's different, but some of the kind of basic general criteria: you got to be over 18 years old. You have to be a U.S. or legal resident. Okay, U.S. citizen or legal resident. You have to reside or live in the state that you want to receive a license. You have to have a physical address in order to get a license in that state. And that also, in most states, requires a background test, fingerprinting, the gamut of that stuff as well. So those are kind of the general criteria for most states in order to become a licensed agent. All right, so if you're eligible for all those things, you take the test, background check, apply for the license, pass the whole thing, and then you have to go work for a brokerage, okay? Now, this part of the getting into real estate really is just talking about, I want to become an agent, I want to list homes, I want to sell homes, I want to help people out there that are buyers purchase homes, and this is going to be my career path. I'm going to be a licensed agent and go out and help people buy and sell homes, okay? This is one area that you can get into real estate. This is a very common one, obviously, and this is the one that most people think they have to have in order to become career-oriented in the world of real estate. It's not the case. You don't have to be licensed to wholesale properties. You don't have to be a licensed agent to be a developer or even to flip properties. You just need to have these people in your playbook, as we say, your wheelhouse. If you want to do all of it yourself, that's fine. I'm a licensed agent. I'm a licensed contractor. I'm a certified home inspector. Like, you can get as much paper behind your name as possible, or if you want, but that doesn't mean you have to, okay? So again, having a plan of attack before you just dive into the industry is important. So to answer some of those questions, no, you don't have to be licensed to do some of the things that you're asking about. This is just one way of doing it. If you become an agent, it's a full-time gig. Pay mind to that. Be careful because people think they can do this part-time or on the side. And yes, I know people that are successful in doing that, but in order to be able to kind of create this path in the world of being a licensed agent, you have to have this in your full-time realm. You really can't be that successful doing it part-time. It just doesn't work out if you're doing other things. If you're doing it just for yourself and your endeavors and your investments, that's totally fine. But if you're out there you're with a brokerage, because you have to be in your first 2 years under a licensed employing broker. You have, as far as a license goes, you have to have that anyway. And that employing broker has you on his team or her team because they brought you in because they think that you're motivated and you're willing to work. And you're also out there, as part of those commissions go to them, right? You're out there making them money. Keep that in mind too, because they're going to be pushing you and making sure that you're meeting your quota. And again, every brokerage is different, so you have to keep in mind what they're requiring of you. Some brokerages will recognize you may want to do it part-time. That being said, down the road, if this is what you want to do, then you might as well commit to it at the beginning. It's faster you learn, faster you get better at something, right? Okay, so that's one way. There's all kinds of things that come with that. The National Association of Realtors, becoming an actual realtor. Now, as a licensed agent, you're not a realtor until you apply for a board, right? You have to be on some sort of team or group that's a local and state represented association. That automatically will get you into the National Association of Realtors and the term realtor by your name. It doesn't automatically happen when you get licensed. That's something extra that you have to do. Typical requirements for obtaining the membership, which I talked about. You got to have a license, actively working in the industry, part-time or full-time, clear civil and criminal history in the past 7 years. That's going to happen to get licensed anyway in most states. Agreement to abide by the NAR Code of Ethics. You got to take a class at the beginning of whatever local jurisdiction you've become a member of the association in order to become the member. So you have to take that class, that Code of Ethics class anyway, which actually goes towards your licensed CE credits. Completion of the orientation course, as I said, and then you have membership dues, which are usually either quarterly or annually. Just, again, depends on the association you're with. Okay, that's one way to become part of the real estate world. Okay, another way to get into real estate is as a wholesaler. This is becoming more and more popular again, because when I first got into real estate and I started flipping homes even, there was a lot of this momentum behind wholesaling real estate, and people coming to me again all the time asking me, what if I got into wholesaling? Do I need a license? Again, you don't. How do I do it? What does it mean? Okay, so let's talk really quickly about what does wholesaling real estate mean. Okay, I liked this actual article because it explained it pretty simply and basic. Wholesaling is a short-term business strategy investors use to make big profits. Contrary to what you may think, real estate wholesaling has nothing to do with retail wholesaling as far as purchasing goods. That's what that means. Retail wholesaling sells large quantity of goods to a retailer, which then turns around and sells it to the end consumer. That's not what you're doing in real estate. Okay. Real estate wholesaling doesn't involve the sale of multiple properties at lower prices at all. In fact, it's a whole different, what they call kettle of fish, which I liked. In this strategy, the wholesaler contracts a home. So you go out as the actual buyer and you get a property under contract, generally one that's distressed, because you're going to turn around and give that paper to an investor, me or somebody, that's willing to buy it, to do work to it, to then turn around and put it back on the market, aka flip. So usually it's a distressed one with a seller. You shop that home around to potential investors or buyers and then assign the contract to one of them. So again, it does help to have a real estate license, because some of this terminology and I call it not trickery, but it's a way of doing things that kind of learning the game is helpful if you have a license, because you're more privy to what's going on. The goal in wholesaling is to sell the home to an interested party before the contract with the original home closes. If you go all the way through contract and you get past all of your dates and your money, which they call goes hard, which is your earnest money, you got to close or you lose your earnest money. So this means that when you're doing this type of this real estate transaction, which is wholesaling, no money exchange hands between the wholesaler and the seller, not at least until a buyer is found by the wholesaler. So how do you make money? You make a profit by finding a buyer willing to purchase the home at the right price, because you're trying to get it under contract where you can take a piece of that. They're willing to pay you more for that paper, that contract, than take the property, which is still going to make the end investor buyer money, because you're kind of holding on to that property for them, almost like you're kind of marketing it back to them and they pay you a commission on that. But you make a profit by finding a buyer who's willing to purchase the home at a higher price than the amount agreed upon by the buyer, which is you, in the first place. The difference in price paid by the buyer is the profit retained by the wholesaler. Wholesaling real estate is best suited for people who want to get into the business but don't have the finances. This is true most times. One of the best things that is, you don't need to take a course, pass an exam. You don't have to be licensed to become a wholesaler. If you have great people skills, fairly patient, you can think quickly on your feet. I'll add to that. Wholesaling may be the right thing for you. This is another way to get into real estate, okay? Real quick example, just so you guys can kind of wrap your heads around this. So say a homeowner has a property he never thought could sell, and it's fairly distressed. And distressed means, never stops. Distressed means the property needs work. It needs to be rehabbed, remodeled, even simple stuff, new carpet, new flooring, paint, new roof possibly, some of the stuff. There's work that needs to be done to the home, which is why it can't be sold at a higher price. That's what you're looking for when you're wholesaling. The owner may not have enough resources to fix it up himself, but continues to live in it, thinking he'd never get a fair price for it, or she. Enter the wholesaler, who approaches the homeowner with an offer. Together they agree on a price, which is going to be under market. Let's say it's $90,000. The wholesaler uses his network of investors, finds an eager buyer at $100,000, assigns the contract to the end investor, which is the paper you're flipping it to, who then has a profitable fixer-upper project, because even if I'm buying it at $100,000 and you've got under contract at $90,000, I know I can sell it for $200,000 or more. So, in turn, the wholesaler makes a profit of $10,000 to whoever is owning the home. All right, that's wholesaling, simply put. Okay, another way that a lot of people know about is actually just buying homes and renting them. Rental income is a great way to create passive income, which we talk a lot about on this channel, talk about on the live stream a lot with the Building Wealth and Health live stream itself. But buying real estate for the long term is the same way as you would be buying stocks in your long-term portfolio, to buy and hold, and that money grows for you because you have someone in there that's paying your mortgage plus some. There's profit on that. It may not be profitable in the first few years, but someone is still paying that mortgage that you have once you buy the real estate as a renter, and you're the landlord, obviously. And over time, the appreciable value of the house goes up. Even in bad markets, eventually it goes up. You may have tiers and offsets, reversals, resets, whatever it may happen. I've talked about that a lot recently too. But in the long term, if you're having renters in there that are paying that mortgage, and eventually as your mortgage goes down, the rents go up, you start creating this profit margin, which creates that passive income. It's a very simple way, if you have some money, to get into the real estate industry. Again, you don't have to be licensed to be a landlord. You don't have to be licensed to have rental properties. You can simply just buy them as an investment property, find a renter, put them in there. You have expenses you'll have to deal with. You'll have to learn how to do simple pro formas. There's always something you have to learn. But again, another way to get into real estate. Buying properties and holding them is a great way to grow wealth. Over time, you make really good money in that. There's more of a hands-on approach you can have. You can pay a property management company to kind of deal with it. Just make sure you don't become a slumlord. And you guys, if you follow me on Instagram, right down here, you'll see some of the tips that I gave you there too, as far as rental properties go. Simple things you can do as far as upkeep of the property, simple things that need to be upgraded over time. There's a lot of things you can actually even learn how to do yourself, which is a great way to learn how to remodel and renovate homes. Having those skill sets is great. And this is a great way to kind of learn some of that stuff as well. Again, some other videos here you can check out, and that'll show you some of those tips on electrical, plumbing, all these simple things you can be doing. But that's a great way to get into real estate, is rental income. All right. Let's talk about the last one now, which is actually as a real estate developer and what that is. All right. What is a real estate developer? Well, simply put, it's a person or company responsible for building, constructing, or renovating homes, offices, it's commercial or residential, industrial sites, whatever. These projects take vacant land. Sometimes it's simply just as a home flipper. So I don't like the term flipping because 15 years ago even, that term flip was really became jaded. And it was just basically people buying, almost just kind of wholesaling homes and then turning them around with just what we call a slapping lipstick on a pig and a little bit of paint on the inside, outside, sometimes some new flooring, and then they would sell them for a lot more money with a lot of work that needed to be done on the homes and knowledged by the actual flipper, but they didn't do any of that work. Electrical, plumbing, roof, all these things needed work, and they just turned around and gave it to somebody else at a higher price. Those people then inherited a home when they bought it that had a lot of problems. They inherited those problems, which weren't dealt with. So I like the word developer because that's really what you are as you're a flipper, is you're taking a home and you're doing things to it to make it better. That's why you can get a better price for it. You got to think about it that way. You're making it better to get a better price. That's a developer, okay? Again, you can take that from ground up as well, or obsolete buildings, and turn them into businesses and homes. Specifically, real estate developers buy property or partner with landowners, then develop a plan for what to build or rebuild on that property or land itself. They bring in investors. Again, sometimes it's me. I mean, I may not do this myself. I may just take over a project, or someone's gotten the infrastructure on a development on land side itself. It's already done. I don't have to deal with that headache. I'll take it from them at that point. That's another way to go. It's just land development. That's another way to look at real estate. Predict how much money the new homes or businesses will bring in. Developers then manage the construction and ultimately sell the project. Now, as a real estate developer, it is more beneficial to have a real estate license, at least to have experience in the real estate world and even in the construction world on some level, because you are on a lot of these different projects kind of helping in the construction management process, at least to the point where the infrastructure, meaning the building itself, can go up from there. That does help. You don't need to be licensed as a realtor, though. Again, helping with expertise in the following areas: land acquisition, market studies, approvals and permits, project financing and financial analysis, building development, building renovations. Like I said, it helps to have experience in some of those realms, but you don't have to have that. I've also found that guys that are good at real estate developing, that get into real estate, have in some ways either a great marketing background or a great business degree background, and they become very good developers in that realm, having little to no experience in the real estate itself. Requirements: you can start it right away. Like I said, in many cases, the aspiring real estate developers have a degree. You heard me preach about the good and bad of college, and when to get a degree, when to not. But then the experience comes in. That's where it really kicks in as far as your knowledge base goes. Training, additional education, that stuff is always out there. If you have questions on that, drop them in the comments below. I can tell you, I can steer you the right direction as far as where to get the additional education if you're already past some of these initial criteria. And then sometimes you need capital. Sometimes you just partner with the guys with capital. But you have to have money on some level to develop on this realm. And again, drop comments below if you have any questions on that or want to be guided in the right directions as far as the real estate developers go. So, take off my spectacles and wrap this thing up for you guys. Those are some of the areas to get into real estate. But if you don't have a plan, if you don't know what direction to go, you're going to get slapped in the face. Keep in mind, you have to have a plan to go into anything, especially real estate. If it's appealing to you and you don't really know which direction to go, hopefully this video helped out, kind of guide you in that path. But as far as getting into it, you have to have a direction, and you can see there's multiple facets of ways to do that. Real estate, commercially, residentially, is a great place to be, especially right now. It's going to have its ups and downs. It's a stressful business. It's a go-getter business. But if that's the stuff that fits your cup of tea, then take a sip and move into it. I appreciate you guys for watching. Again, on the way out, if you haven't yet, find that subscribe button, click it, click that notification bell so you can get more of these videos as they come out. If you did like the video and the content, hit that blue thumb on the way out. And again, questions, any other comments, leave them below for me. Check out the other videos. Until next time, guys, keep building.